Hello Sentai fans and Toku fans, rustmarrow here, and today I want to show you guys something cool I actually picked up at a shop the other day, and it's going to be a box of Ranger Strike Solid Volume 1. So what exactly are you guys looking at? Ranger Strike Solid is a series of collectible trading figures based on the illustrations of card artworks from the Ranger Strike card game, which is a pretty old Japan exclusive trading card game featuring the characters from the Super Sentai series, and in later boosters there was actually an expansion called Cross Gather, if I'm not wrong, which also features characters from other toku such as Kamen Rider and Metal Heroes as well. On the front here we have VulEagle from Super Sentai Sun Vulcan, and I'll just put the original artwork of the card that this figure is based on either on the right or the left here so you guys can see and compare for yourselves. Here on the left side of the box we have some other figures we can possibly get from this box. First we have the Deca Ranger Robo from Deca Ranger as well as Abba Red. And over here on the left, the last two options are a card featuring all 5 main members of Car Ranger, as some of you guys might actually know them as Power Rangers Turbo. And then here we have Majiret from Magi Ranger or Power Rangers Mystic Force. So there are 5 different figures in total, but there are actually 10 types. So there are 5 different kinds of figures. You can get either the normal version or the metallic version, which creates a total of 10 different figures you can possibly get from this box. But this is actually going to be the 5 different ones featured as we talked about earlier, and this little box over here just tells us that there's a normal version and then there is like a metallic sort of like foil version of each figure as well. However, this is actually a second-hand box. This Ranger Strike Solid Volume 1 series of toys actually came out back in 2010, so it's going to be very difficult and expensive to find a first-hand copy nowadays. This is a second-hand one, which is why it's technically already open, as you guys can see here, and it's already been marked out which figure is actually in this box. So I specifically chose this one because I thought out of all the 5 different artworks, I thought VulEagle's one was the coolest, so I actually went for a VulEagle metallic foil version. So now let's open this thing up. Let me just show you guys the bottom, not that there's much to see here, and then the top of the box looks like this as well. Right, so now let's just open it up and see what it looks like on the inside. Okay, so well, at least it's open, but it looks like it hasn't been assembled yet. So first we have what looks like an instruction manual. Let's take a look at that first. So opening it up, it looks basically like, it's essentially a guide to all of the different figures, no matter which one you get. Some assembly is required, but it's not like very complicated. You just need to attach some of the pieces together, so nothing much there, and just some random post and mail stuff on the back. And here we have 2 plastic packets. Let me just put this box aside for a moment. No, you know what? I think I will actually, give me a moment, just put it in the back right here. Okay, and now let's just focus on the stuff over here. First, in our first plastic bag, we basically have the sort of rocky terrain that the VulEagle will be standing on, and then the other one we have the foil metallic VulEagle himself. I don't think you guys can see him clearly just yet, so I'm just going to quickly assemble this together. So first, let's take a look at the piece of rocky terrain that they've actually given us. Now, I gotta say that this actually looks really nice. You can just see the amount of detail that has actually gone into the carving of this like actual rock piece that makes it look really realistic, like you have like a piece taken directly out of an actual mountain itself. Here we have all of the nooks and crannies where the rest of the figure will actually be inserting to for VulEagle to stand, I mean. And on the left here we actually have some eagle feet, and you guys will find out why pretty soon. Now for the figure of VulEagle himself, this looks really epic. I'm really glad I got the metallic foil version because it just looks so much brighter. I'm not exactly sure what the non-metallic version will look like, but I think the colors will probably appear more flat. But I like how the metallic nature of the paint on the figure like this actually makes it a bit more realistic in that sense. Like you can actually feel like the sun is shining down on him and reflecting off his suit and armor, if you can call it that. And here we have his weapon as well. Unfortunately, I didn't watch Sun Vulcan, so I don't know what it's called. And I especially like the muffler that's sort of like just flapping in the wind, looking super epic and ragged just like that. And with the visor as well, this is a really super well done figure. Like, just for a little collectible trading figure like this, I think the detail is super well done for both like the terrain that we've seen so far and the figure of VulEagle himself. Now this is really nice. And now for the finishing touch, we actually have the figure of a little eagle. Now this is actually really well made, I think, really lifelike, realistic, other than the eyes of course, which are a little bit cartoony but still okay, they're still decent. And the detail, the amount of detail that's gone into the feathers, and like even the feathers on the face, the white colored feathers and the darker brown feathers down here as well is really fantastic. And as you can see, he has no feet, and that is what the eagle feet on the rocky terrain are for. Now putting everything together, you get something sort of like this, which looks really epic actually, but of course the coolest angle is definitely not from the front, because just like the box, you kind of want VulEagle to sort of be like slanted off to the left a little like this, with his muffler flapping off into the wind just like that, looking really epic, and all the detail just coming together to create this really nice awesome picture. And like you can feel the atmosphere, you know, like VulEagle standing on top of a mountain with an actual eagle in the background, looking so epic just like this. I'll raise it up so you guys can get a bit of a closer look in the middle of the camera screen, but it just looks really nice. This is one purchase I definitely do not regret. I feel a bit tempted to go back to that shop and get the rest of the figures as well, but if I remember correctly, they didn't actually have one of each. Like, I probably want to get like the 5 metallic versions of all of them, but I find that the rest don't look too epic. Like, I like the Magi Red one, and the Deca Ranger Robo one, but the one with like all of the Car Ranger, the Power Ranger Turbo characters, that one did look really nice. And here we're gonna go around to the back a little. It looks pretty awesome from the back as well. Like, from this angle specifically, just check it out, man. Like, VulEagle just sort of like stepping off to the horizon diagonally to the left. Looks really nice. And I would like if like we had a bit more freedom with the positions, but unfortunately because of the nooks and crannies we're given, we're kind of fixed with like having VulEagle in this position and the eagle itself staring off in this way. So I think the best... Oh, this is actually pretty nice as well, kind of, but then this one kind of focuses on the eagle rather than VulEagle. But yes, it looks like you'll probably want to go for the classic position when posing this toy, wherever you want to put it, something like this, with just VulEagle stepping forward and to the right. On the whole, I'd say I'm really happy with this purchase. I expected it to turn out really cool, and it met those expectations perfectly. I got this for about 10 Singapore dollars, which would translate to about 7 to 8 USD, and for that price, I think this is pretty worth it considering the amount of detail and just the whole feel and atmosphere of the toy itself is really great. Like, I think it's actually a really good idea to take illustrations from artworks from trading card games and then translate them to actual figures, because then you have like an actual like 2D artist creating an atmosphere in a card artwork, then having it translated into 3D, it feels like a really good idea. Like, you can't really go wrong with that. Unfortunately, this Ranger Strike Solid series of figures ended at Volume 1. I'm not too sure what happened. Maybe the sales weren't that good, maybe it wasn't popular enough at the time, but we never got anything past Volume 1. There is no Volume 2. You can try searching, but I don't think you'll find anything. So literally all we have are these 5 figures over here, which is really unfortunate, but I mean, at the same time, it does make the set pretty easy to complete as well without having to spend too much money. If you're interested in getting your own Ranger Strike Solid figures or Ranger Strike cards, I'd recommend searching either Amazon, especially Amazon Japan if you can, or eBay. I don't think you'll be able to find these on any like specialized international Japanese hobby shops, because these toys are really old and they weren't really popular either, so I think they'll be very difficult to find. I'll leave the Japanese spelling of Ranger Strike and Ranger Strike Solid in the description below so that you guys can use them for your searches as well. That'll be all for this short video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you'd like to see me open more Ranger Strike Solid figures, or if you guys want me to make a video about the Ranger Strike card game itself, because I think it's pretty interesting since I find that most people have never heard about it before. And with that, hope to see you guys in the next Super Sentai or Toku video. Oh, shining sparkling swords, sworn to this battle road. I'll be stronger when you share with our bonds, you see, together comrades and good.